Welcome back, gang. It's Deltia from DeltiasGaming.com. Been in the lab with the Magic Sorcerer, and I'm back for PvE this time. The fusion build failed, but in the failure of the fusion build, I learned a lot about PvE DPS with the Magic Sorc. Yes, the overload spamming is real. I'm going to show you what I've learned, and also followed up with a complete vet Maelstrom Arena perfect run, no deaths, and all-out massive DPS with the Magic Sorc. Stay tuned. Alright, so apparently I've been playing the Magic Sorc wrong for about 1 year. I'm not going to lie. I undervalued its power, its utility, its simplicity, but I've been in the lab playing all day, every day to figure this sucker out. PvP and PvE. Now, when I said the fusion build failed, if you watch my theory crafting video before, it's because of CP and how it works in PvE and PvP differently, which we're going to touch on later. So, this build, what I was doing in Vet Maelstrom Arena, getting my sub 400k scores and my no death, I was making everything too complicated. And I think a lot of times some builds, including my own, are a little bit too complicated. With the Sorc, keep it simple, stupid, or whatever that's saying. I think that's the right saying. No, I didn't make it up. So keep it simple, keep it simple, keep it simple. So the skills. Now, story time here, Deltia story time. I know you're getting to the build, but want me to shut up? I'm going to tell you the story. I was doing Vet Maelstrom Arena, and this is how it came about. I said, today I'm getting a no-death run. I don't care how many times I die. I don't care what's going to happen. I am getting it done. If the dog's biting my leg, I don't care. We're getting it done. So about 10 times through, I had a couple one-death runs. I had a disconnect on round 7 that caused me to die with a no-death. So I got really, really upset. I think I cried. I kicked something. My toe hurts still from it. And I said, screw it. I'm just going to go all DPS. And turns out, everything was much, much easier once I did all DPS. And so I'm like, So I basically turned my build from being all sorts of trick, wizardy, speed, utility, just to go and screw it. Let's go DPS. And that's what made Vet Maelstrom way easier and see these monster scores people are getting. Okay, so this build, this foundation of what I'm doing here is not new, it's not unique, but it's effective, and that's why a lot of Sorcs run it. So, I double bar 2 abilities for massive, massive max magic. Inner Light. Why? It gives you max magic by 5%, spell critical, we use it in every single build it looks like, and then Bound Aegis. So, increases your max magic by 8% and gives you some minor resistance. That's fine. So basically we turn both of these things on the entire time. What it does is it kind of screws up our bard because we don't have a whole lot of abilities that we can use. But it jacks up our magic to an incredible amount. 44,000. Now I have 16,000 health. Why is that not an issue? Because on a Magic Sorc, if you maintain your ward, specifically Hardened Ward, you don't really have to worry about max health that much. You do have to worry about bar swapping though. So if we look here, Bastion, 19,000 damage absorption. I mean, and your globe can absorb 33,000 more, or 33%, excuse me. So I can just absorb just an enormous amount of damage. And the trick to doing this is looking at your bar. You see how it changes from purple to that normal red color? That's your indicator when you need to recast your ward, your Hardened Ward. So your main survivability isn't movement speed, it's not tricky wizard stuff, it's simply just blowing things up and keeping Hardened Ward up. It's that simple. So our main one spammable ability is Force Pulse. I like this morph over Crushing Shock because in certain rounds you actually don't want to interrupt, specifically the 7th round. Plus it does more damage, plus it actually acts as an AoE damage ability in range. It's amazing, and it rotates through all of the elements. And then the other ability, Liquid Lightning. I don't use Pulsar specifically for Vet Maelstrom Arena, though you can. The thing about Pulsar versus Liquid Lightning is I can just sit Liquid Lightning down, and it does about 5,000 damage a second on a crit to everyone that's in this area. Since it's PvE, people are going to come to this little area, right? So if I'm just in here face tanking them, and things are beating on me, and I have Hardened Ward, it will do an incredible amount of damage. So let's go check this out. So we're going to buff here, get my 2 Little wards up. I can just sit in here. Look, 5.2k. Just critting, critting, critting. My wards are still up. There's one ability. I mean, it's that easy. So I don't have to spam. I gotta pick this up. I'm sorry, I'm low on alchemy mats. Borka, you know that. You don't have to spam Pulsar with this build. You simply just put this Liquid Lightning down. Not only is it incredible AoE, but it's incredible single target. It lasts for a while. It procs Disintegration. It's just a monster ability. And you don't have to recast it over and over and over. Now, it does have a 4-meter radius, so it's not a huge, gigantic radius, but things will come to you. It's PvE, right? And then we have Crystal Fragments. It's an insta-cast is what we're going to use it for. Basically, we're just setting Liquid Lightning down, and we're force pulsing things until this procs and shooting at it. It's that simple. That's it. We're not really using Shooting Star. Now, I have this on here for the more max magic via the Mage's Guild passives. So that's why I have it on here, so it hits a little bit harder. More max magic and max recovery. Now, if you don't want to do that, you can bar something else. If you bar a dark magic ability, let's say here, you'll get more spell power because of the Storm Calling, Storm Expert. So if you want more spell power here, if you want more max magic, there. I do use Shooting Star in one round specifically, and that's round 5. And I'm going to show you in the video the no death where I use it and when. Other than that, I don't use it. Another thing about it is nice is Power Overload is my back bar, Energy Overload. Now, a lot of times I'll hit the R key, my ultimate key. The thing about meteors, you have to have a target, right? Otherwise, you do that. And you do a meteor on nothing. And you blow 1,000 ultimate on a rabbit. The nice thing about meteor is if you don't have any target, there is no little stupid dinky-donk rabbits in Maelstrom Arena. So you can't blow through that ultimate unless you have a target. Because you're want to go on your back bar frequently and use this. Plus, if you do a dinky-dong rabbit ultimate, you're getting some ultimate back. The trick with this build is to always have a little bit of ultimate. If you have a little bit of ultimate, you can survive and use resources to your advantage. If you don't, you're kind of screwed. Okay, and why is that? That's back on the back bar. The whole thing centers around overload. Sorcs have been using it for a very long time now. I didn't really get its entire power. I just didn't understand it. Probably because my champion points were screwed up. And I just didn't understand the Sorc fundamentally. So let's get some ultimate up. I mean, look how much damage we're doing. It's just... That's not even using overload. It's just insane. Come here, you. We got to get ultimate up. Okay, so we need about 60 ultimate... 60, what do we got? 66 ultimate to turn overload on. Now, overload you turn on, it basically takes away your ability to light attack and makes it the supercharge, oh my god, Ermiger, just destroy everything. And you get a third bar. You get access to more abilities. Though you have to double bar once again Mage Light and Bound Aegis, just like we did in the previous Ignition build. We're going to put Liquid Lightning on this bar in case our thing runs out. I still have a Hardened Ward just in case I do get hit really hard. And then I have Dark Conversion, which gives me health and magic at the exchange for stamina. It is ultra simple. In my back bar, you'll notice I have dual wield. I'm going to show you why in a second. But I have one buff, Power Surge. That's going to give me everything I need for 33 seconds, spell power. I have my 2 wards. One is Harness Magicka, which is spell power, and one is Hardened Ward, which is anything. These 2 wards combined will give you so much protection that you don't need a whole lot of health. The key, once again, is to recognize when your wards are down. Now, visually indicators on the consoles or looking at your bar, and you can have add-ons and fancy ones. And also another thing is Hardened Ward's 20 seconds. Harness Magicka is 25. So the way I usually do this is when I'm playing, I know that Crit Surge is 33 seconds, right? So I basically do 1 Crit Surge, 2 wards, and then halfway through Crit Surge, I just ward again. So if I'm doing my buff rotation, it's Crit Surge lasts the longest, Harness lasts the second longest, and then Harden. And so usually if I'm fighting, about 15 seconds into it, my wards will be down. I will back recast, but do not recast Crit Surge again. The problem with me that I was having, I was watching my build, is I was overcasting. Don't overcast. Don't overcast your wards. Don't overcast your abilities if you don't need to, or you're going to blow through your magic because we have 0 regen. 0. Okay, the wards are down. Oh, bug loss on video. What? Another thing we have to realize about wards, right, is that harness magic is only spell damage. And I know I've already said that, and that's obvious, but if you're facing someone that does physical damage, your buff, your little health bar like I showed right there, it's covered, but you're not going to absorb damage. So let's see. So they're doing shock damage, so that's absorbing, right? At physical damage, it didn't, and you saw our health move. Now when we have both bars up, both wards up, we're blocking physical and spell. See? So our health bar is not moving. So that's what you have to notice. Specific rounds are physical damage heavy and specific rounds are spell damage heavy. Remember that harness is going to give us back magic too when we use it. So sometimes harness magic just isn't even worth it in specific rounds. Sometimes hardened ward might not be worth it. And you can flex in and out abilities, but I still like to have both of them on there. That is the skills. Keep it simple, stupid. The simpler you can make it, the easier for you to understand and execute, the better this is going to be. The better it will be. So let's talk about gear. Alright, so we're on to gear now, and you'll notice that I have Bound Aegis activated, and I still have this cool looking armor on. So a trick that you can use in your collections, if you have a costume, specifically, what is it? The Mind-Driven skin, or the one that you buy, if you don't have it activated, you'll look like this. That looks stupid. So let's have that activated. Doo-doo-doo. Now I look cool. So the gear setup is pretty simple. It's just 5-piece Julianos, all Divines, all Max Magic, 2-piece Molag Kina, Divines, Max Magic, and I'm using Dual Wield and no Resto Staff with Nirnhone. Gonna talk about that in a minute. Willpower, all spell damage. I have absolutely zero recovery. Zero. I do not believe in recovery on a Magic Sword. I'll explain why. Because remember Energy Overload? That awesome ultimate here? Each attack gives you magic back. So essentially what we're doing is killing things in the rounds and stacking our ultimate. We can stack 1,000 ultimate. And then once we run out of magic, we turn this on, or once we get into a boss fight, we blow everything up, we're back to max magic. That's why there's zero recovery. So when we have zero recovery, we have room for incredible amount of damage. Now you'll notice here my dual wield. Why do I use dual wield? Dual wield produces more damage for my build than a lightning staff does. So on my overload bar, I use dual wield. Now I use Nirnhone because the resistance is very, very nice. I haven't checked precise to see if it's more damage, so I don't know. But I like the Nirnhone Torix Pack swords. Now also the staff that I use is lightning. I've had good luck with fire. It's Nirnhone. I've yet to get a Maelstrom precise staff, so that's lightning. But this works for now, and you can want the shock enchant if you have the ability to do so. Why? We're Sorks, shock, disintegration, kill stuff. Or speaking about disintegration, that's probably the biggest nasty little thing we get once we reach execution mode. Which you'll notice I don't have Mage's Fury on. I'd rather just overload than use Mage's Fury. I don't think it's that good of an ability. Why? Mage's Fury works at 100% health. Mage's Fury overload works at 100%. Mage's Fury works at 20%. I don't use it. Don't find it that effective. People call me crazy, but hey, I've been called worse. Okay, so other gear here. Now, Divines are infused. Infused seems to be really, really powerful on all your gear if you're just starting out and you want bigger wards. More max magic, bigger wards. The pure theory crafting, absolute most damage, I think on Tamriel Foundry, suggested it's infused. I don't know. I like Divines. And I go with the Thief Mundastone, courtesy of Gilly MacMillie. Increased critical strike chance. Now I had the shadow, I was doing big crits, but I wasn't critting as often. My DPS significantly increased when I went Thief. Because NPCs can't resist crits. Why not stack a crap ton of critical hit? That's my philosophy and it works well for me. So all spell damage. We got the shock staff and we got the Kina proccing. So why do we have 2 pieces of Kina? It's all about those 2 consecutive light attacks. Once we turn overload on, we're just basically going to do light attacks, destroying everything. So let's just show you how powerful this is. Come here, where's some mobs? Butterfly, oh, where's the mob? What is this, an elk? That was a camel. Let's not drop a meteor on an elk. Do we really have to ride? Look at these cool bones though. Well, I guess it's not so cool if you're the bones. It's cool if you're observing the bones. Okay, anyways. So if I put my liquid lightning down here on these guys and just vaporize them, you're going to see how much damage this does. My buffs, liquid lightning. I mean, right there. What is that, 33,000? 33,000. I mean, and then Molekina procs, so we would get 500 more. So let's try this. Let's rebuff. So 2 light attacks, it procs. Now it's 35, 38,000. 39,000. God. It's just, now imagine going into a round with 1,000 ultimate and literally hitting one button over and over and over. Keep it simple, stupid. I thought Templars were easy. Wow, no wonder Sorcs are #1 in the world, I think. It's just that simple with this gear setup. Okay, so yes, I am an absolute best in slot gear. Absolutely the best. Do you have to have absolutely best in that slot? No, it'll still work and you'll still do a lot of damage. I'm telling you right now, I like Julianos better than Twiceborn Star now. It seems to work for me. And now, let me talk to you about champion points. And this is what made the biggest difference for me in Magic Sorc doing a lot of damage or doing little baby boy damage. Alright, so why was I playing the Sorc wrong? Well, apparently, my champion points were screwed up. So over here, when I was theory crafting the fusion build for PvP, Thaumaturge, mindlessly I put all my points in here and thought, oh, well, I mean, it's magic damage, right? Isn't Sorc magic damage? Well, not really. It turns out only a couple abilities, specifically Crystal Frags, is magic damage. Now, Proxy Det, Dawnbreaker for PvP are also that. But the majority, if not 90% of your damage, comes from Shock or Flame and Frost. So pumping this up, not even messing with that other stuff, made an enormous difference in my DPS. It turns out I had my champion points wrong for a very long time. And the reason I didn't think Sorcs were that good is just because I was ignorant, to be completely honest with you. So through your tips, through your comments, through reading through Tamriel Foundry and some other things, found out I was doing it wrong, specifically Yahoo and Phil on my website. So thank you for that. Keep it simple, stupid. Elemental Expert right here. Elfborn, more crit damage. We have about 70% crit or so once our buffs are up. Just that simple. You got to go high elf if you're going to play a Magic Sorc. You got to go high elf. You want that extra shock damage. And if you do, go about 90 points in Arcanist, 77 in Magician. Now, when I got my Vet Maelstrom done, apparently I didn't even have 100 points into this, but if you want to do really cheesy and have huge short shields, go to the Bastion, and then go Elemental Defender. The reason I do Elemental Defender, I'm a vampire specifically for PvP purposes, but you could go Quick Recovery if you want the monster healing. I mean, it's just the simplest build, but yet one of the most effective. Man, I did 40,000 single target damage, literally pressing 2 buttons. One buff, Potion, Liquid Lightning, pressing a button. I mean, it doesn't get simpler than that, does it? So let's go into Maelstrom Arena here and show you a little bit of how hard this hits, and then we're going to follow it up with a full Vet Maelstrom Arena perfect run that I'm going to narrate. It's going to be fun! So on the way to Maelstrom Arena and answering a few questions why I'm going there. 1, do you want to be a vampire? If you're doing just PvE, do not be a vampire. There's almost no incentive to do so. If you do PvP and you like to play in groups like I do, 12 or more, that's what I do Vampire for. For the, basically if you can't swap bars to constantly shield, Bats gives you about 5 seconds where you're just not going to die unless you get hit really, really hard. It comes with a lot of downsides, so I don't recommend it. Also, I've experimented a million different ways with food. I've tried this new fancy food that Pius gave me. I liked it at the beginning. I've tried Tri-Stat food to do more dodge rolls. Keep it simple, stupid. Max health, max magic. It just works the best. Borka has hooked me up with all of these potions. So one that's really handy is Immunity Knockback and Major Expedition. Notice I don't have any speed, right? So these things are really helpful, specifically in the last round. Also, what's helpful is Panacea Spell Power. Why would this be helpful? Well, if your crit surge runs out during your overload and you don't want to swap bars or recast it, say the boss is at 10% health, you're just about to finish it, pop one of these suckers to continue to get that, and more max magic, and more max magic recovery. So that's pretty much it. So, as simple as this is, it's just, I don't even know what to say. I think the other builds that I'm making for this need to be simpler. You want a single target ability, you want all-out DPS, and if you can find a way that your DPS heals you consistently, like we pretty much have with every other build, you'll have just a juggernaut. However you do that. You know, like the Stamina Nightblade, well, Killer's Blade gives us back health. You know, Stamina Templar, which I'm working on, well, Repentance gives us back health. Anyways, so the portal's there. You'll notice that I put down my Liquid Lightning right as the portal spawns. Why? Because as soon as they get out, they dead. I'm going to reapply my portal, and you'll see my 2 wards up. I'm not going to recast them. Don't overcast, like I said earlier. Okay, now the portals are down because my health moved a little bit. Oh no. Recast both. Recast that. Swap back. You'll notice I'm running low on magic already, and that's not a problem. I mean, it's just hitting so hard. 5.6k on a crit with Force Pulse. I mean, if 3 of those crit, do the math. It's just easy mode. Okay, so I want to show you what happens when I burn through all my magic. That's pretty much overload. And usually I can get it back. Typically you're going to take 3 minutes to do this round, or any other round, about 7 on some that lasts a bit longer. But in between the spawns, you can get back most of your magic. Because we're not using any stamina. Why not? Things are just dying. Before they can even get to me, they're dead. That's why we're not using any... Nothing's even hitting me. Okay, knock him down, put a Liquid Lightning on him, and before he's up, he's dead. I mean, it's just easy. So you can avoid a lot of mechanics just by doing mind-boggling DPS. And let's say that we're out of magic. Well, we go to this bar, we just hit our little thing, getting us more magic back, and switch back on. Rebuff. And he couldn't barely hit me because he's dead. Now, Crystal Frags, though I don't pump up Thaumaturge, is still handy for the stunning ability. And still hits pretty hard. And boom. Sit in my Liquid Lightning, homie. So this is why Sorcerer are doing very good in this now. Notice my bars, though. I don't have my wards up, so let's not get too cocky there, Adult Mania. And use potions on cooldown. Can't thank you enough, Borka, and everyone for your donations. Green Balloon, Guardian Rain. Because I go through a lot of them. It took me about 1,000 potions to get my no death. So yeah, it's expensive. Okay, bar move. Let's reapply Harden. When I say bar, I mean my health move. Because my bar looked blue, but it still moved. Why? Harness was up and I was taking physical damage. Ready for the Sorc? Here we go. I'm playing. This game's hard. This game's hard. It's really hard as a Sorc. Haha. It's really hard as a Sorc. Haha. Oh my god, I'm pressing one button. Haha. This is the Sorc. Okay, the round's about done, and this guy's... Oh, I'm about to die. That's okay. I'm gonna get a 3,000 billion thing. I'm pressing my one button still. Okay, one button. That's a magic Sorc, guys. That's it. That's why people play this damn class. I mean, need I say more? I was wrong the whole time about magic Sorcs. They're incredible. Look at this. 33,000 damage is what we did. 2 abilities? You can do it too. You can do it too. So keep practicing the magic Sorc. I'm going to have the full Vet Maelstrom Arena run after this in case you don't want to listen to all my little tips and me yelling and screaming and making funny jokes. Thank you so much for watching, and specifically the community for helping me out. Nifty, Gil, Yahoo, Phil the Thrill, Mike on my website, all you guys, and especially the people that are donating. Going back to the lab, I've been playing the Sorc for just a month, can't put it down, and I think it's one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful build right now. Thank you so much for watching, and may the overload be with you.